I guarantee there's a task in your business you're meant to be doing right now. You were meant to do some outreach for your business. You were meant to record a YouTube video. Maybe you're procrastinating on reading that book that you keep on telling yourself you're going to read, but you never do it. But here you are. Every single night, you look at your empty habit tracker. You look at your empty to-do list. And that guilty feeling that starts to come inside your mind consumes your entire life. You start to feel depressed. You start to feel angry with yourself because you can't work hard. And then this turns into this constant cycle of you avoiding work. You start to feel guilty and you go to coping mechanism. You go to YouTube. This is probably why you're on YouTube right now. You see, I struggled with this problem for an entire year. And if you can just give me 9 minutes, however long this video is, I'm going to solve it for you. You see, it's around 3 p.m. on Friday. I'm sitting in my room. My monitor is right in front of me and I'm curled in a ball, just staring into this monitor. You see, I just finished watching one of those videos when you go on YouTube and you see like how to make 10k per month in 30 days, how to achieve financial freedom in 2 years. I watched all these videos, right, and I came across this business model called copywriting. And a couple of days have gone by since I actually found this, and since then I've just been locking myself in my room, closing my door and just trying to figure out how to actually make money online with this business. And around this time I just finished doing this big task you're meant to do as a copywriter. You're meant to, find what niche you're in. If you don't know what that means, basically every single business has to target someone, right? So I chose to target fitness coaches, which was a terrible idea. But anyway, I'm doing this super boring work. I've got this giant spreadsheet in front of me which I don't know how the hell to use. But the next step for me was to actually do outreach. I was meant to outreach to these fitness coaches and offer my solution, which was, email marketing, right? So I pick up this exact journal. This is like the enchantment table of my journal, right? Every single day I'll just constantly tell myself what I was going to do. And on my to-do list, it basically said I had to reach out to 100 of these fitness coaches. But the thing is, these weren't just sending 100 messages. These were actually cold calling 100 businesses in one day. And me at this time, I had severe social anxiety. I didn't want to do this, right? No 16-year-old wants to cold call 100 businesses who are going to tell you to fuck off, right? So me picking up my phone, actually finding these contacts was the plan. It was the goal. But of course, I didn't follow the goal. I didn't follow the plan. Instead of actually calling anyone the entire day, all I do is stare right into my monitor and go on YouTube. I try to distract my brain with, consuming self-improvement content. So the cycle starts to begin, it turns into night, it's past my bedtime, I start to feel super guilty because I haven't done the work. And this cycle continues every single day. For months and months, all I did every single day, I didn't even make any cold calls, all I did was watch YouTube. But why the hell didn't I actually do this work for months and actually try to get clients? Well, it was down to one simple reason, and this is the reason why you can't focus. This is the reason why you can't get into a flow state. Well, technically there's two reasons. The first thing is actually inside the work you're doing. You have interruptions. You hear your phone buzzing, so you go and watch YouTube. And as soon as you get distracted, you start to procrastinate and you don't go back to work. You just stay on that distraction until the end of the day. That is the first reason. But the second reason is a bit more deep. And this was the only problem I faced myself. It wasn't really the distractions that affected me, but it was this. And I apologize, I'm not really going to go into why and how this affected me because it's pretty dark, it's pretty sad. But anyway, usually there's a subconscious reason why you can't get into a flow state. Maybe you have severe social anxiety, so when you go to cold call for your businesses, you just can't, you start to stutter, and that trauma you used to have just fills your mind once again. Or maybe you can't focus because your mind is going crazy. Maybe you fear the future, or maybe you're scared of the past, or whatever problem or thought you have is just causing you to get distracted. But the reason why I wanted to tell you that is because usually the thing that people try to fix is just a symptom of the real problem. People try to fix and improve their sleep. People try to read all these productivity books on focus, but that's not the problem. The problem really is either one of these two things. The first step or the first rule you have to know to actually get into a flow state is you need to make sure the difficulty of the task is at the same skill level as yourself. You need to make sure the work is not too difficult and it's not too easy, because what happens is, this is what most people struggle with, the task they're trying to do is way too difficult, so they start to feel overwhelmed, so they get distracted or they get anxious and then they just procrastinate. This is the biggest reason why people can't get into a flow state. And if you find yourself feeling super overwhelmed, there's a quick action step you can do right now. The first thing you need to do is just make the task easier to do. Like for example, with me, with my copywriting, like I told you at the start, I wasn't not going to complete 100 cold calls in the first day. Of course not. I've never done a cold call in my life. So instead, I should have set the goal to just do 5. Because the thing is, you got to realize your brain takes the path of least resistance. I say in every single video. But this is why your brain chooses to go on YouTube instead of doing your work. It's because it's way too difficult. So it decides to just get distracted. And of course, I mentioned this point in a lot of my videos. But the thing is, I'm trying to drill this into your head because it's so important. Bro, you're not at the current skill level to actually do that work. It's like going into a video game going on the hardest difficulty and expecting to just win, expecting to just not rage quit in the first 5 minutes, right? It's not going to happen. Instead, what you need to do is make the task easier to complete. And by this point, if you've done this actionable step, this is all you need to do. This is all you need to do to get into a flow state. And by the way, if you're an entrepreneur who wants to get into a flow state for 10 to 12 hours every single day so you can blow up your business and actually focus and get way better results than you're currently getting, click the first link in the description to join my free community where I help you to, improve your productivity so you can reach this level. Because right now, if you've done that first actionable step, you're in something called the flow channel. When you go in the flow channel, it's very hard to get out of it. It's very hard to actually, force yourself to get distracted. And this is what you want to do. If you think to like the days where you played video games for, 10 hours a day, it probably felt like 2 hours. It probably felt like 30 minutes, right? That's simply because you're in a flow state. So the second step to actually stay in this flow state is realize the feelings you have, the cravings you have are not real. Because the thing is, bro, you got to realize God, the universe, or whatever you believe in, they do not care whether you feel tired. They do not care if you can't sit down to focus for 5 minutes. Because they will simply skip you, they'll give you the bronze medal, and they'll give the gold medal to the other person, your competitor who's destroying you right now. Because when you get into this flow state, you're going to get so many urges to go on YouTube. You're going to get so many urges to play video games or just randomly get up from your chair and go and get some food. The only way you can actually improve your focus and tap into this flow state consistently is by training your brain not to fall into that distraction. It's by training your brain to just sit down and focus on one thing for the longest period of time. These emotions are literally just created to make sure you are the safest, laziest person you can be. Emotions pass way quicker than you think, so make sure the only thing in your attentional space when you're working is the work. When you do that, you'll stay consistently in this flow channel. I'll put a picture on the screen right now. And when you do that, you'll get into a flow state much more consistently. Now, the third step that you have to do to actually get into this flow state and stay in it consistently for 12 hours every single day is making sure you do the hardest task as soon as you wake up. And I know I mention these points a lot, but many people do not do them because they just simply don't want to do the action steps. So what I want you to do right now is make sure you do the hardest task as soon as you wake up, because I want to tell you about an analogy. This analogy is very important and it's changed my life and it will change yours as well. You see, I want you to imagine you've got this big plate of food. You've got a steak, you've got your favorite food there, and you've got a dessert over there. But on the plate is also a frog. The worst food in the world. You hate it, it's disgusting, but it's still there. What you can either do is eat the frog first and get rid of this terrible tasting food and enjoy the rest of your meal, so you just feel happy and it's it's super easy. Or you can eat the good food first, enjoy that, and then have to suffer with eating the frog. The disgusting taste in your mouth just stays there. The most logical thing to do here is eat the frog so you can enjoy the food, right? This is exactly how we should prioritize our tasks. We should think, right, what's the hardest task we can do, and put it as soon as the day starts. As soon as you wake up, get straight to work. And then what you'll notice is the rest of the day becomes super easy to complete. All the tasks become like a breeze and you just flow through it, right? That is how you get into a flow state for 12 hours every single day. It's simply by starting with this productive mindset, and that carries on through. It creates a positive feedback loop where you're productive the entire day. Because the thing is, most people don't realize this, the first 5 or 15 minutes of your day reflect how the entire day will go. If you scroll for the first 5 minutes, you're going to scroll for the next 12 hours in the day. But likewise, if you get straight to work in the first 5 to 15 minutes, you're going to work and be productive the entire day. And this is why I hate morning routines. All these habits people tell you to do, then bro, no one cares about that. Having a cold shower every single morning is great and all, but really, is that going to get you to 10k per month? Is that going to blow up your business? Not really. What is going to do that is you actually focusing on the big tasks that need to be done, not all this shallow work that people tell you to do. Of course, you can do all these habits later in the day, but make sure you do the hardest task as soon as you wake up. And this is how you get into a flow state consistently. So that is the 3 steps. The first thing you need to do is make sure you get rid of the overwhelming feeling, the emotion coming from the task being too difficult, by making the task super easy to complete, so your brain doesn't just get distracted. It doesn't be anxious while you're working, so you can get into a flow state. Once you're in the flow channel, the second step you need to do is realize all the feelings all the cravings you have are not real. They're simply figments of your imagination, and this is the reason why you can't focus. And if you simply just ignore them and you just focus more on the work, bro, they'll just go away. They'll just go away after a few minutes, okay? And that is how you train your brain to focus for longer periods of time. The final step is making sure you do eat the frog, where you complete the hardest tasks as soon as you wake up, so that creates a positive feedback loop so you can focus the entire day and get into a flow state. Like I said at the start of the video, if you're an entrepreneur who wants to get into a flow state for 10 to 12 hours a day so you can really blow up your business and just be way more productive, even if you're a student in school, click the first link in the description to join my free community, okay? I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you do all the actionable steps, otherwise I'm going to come to your house and murder you. Goodbye, have a great day. You're going to get me in the face again. Goodbye.